All right, what's up, everybody? I'm gonna do a quick update video on a couple things, and starting here with Mysterium. Now, I think tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to create myself a new account here and refresh this node because I'm seeing, as you can see here, availability 339 out of 744. So it's basically telling me that it's been down half the time, but I believe that this is adding everything, all the nodes. I've done a couple test nodes. I've done some nodes for the YouTube videos, which is decreasing my reputation. So I'm not getting fed a lot of connections. As you can probably see, we've got 583 residential, 462. This isn't going to be enough to get us any payout this month. Yeah, we can see our earnings here starting out. They did trend upwards up to approximately half almost a day, which is 20 cents, or 10, 15 cents or something like that. So definitely not a high earner. See, we are getting some connections, but we're not seeing a lot of data transfers. Originally, I installed this prior to making a video with one node listed on my account, and I was earning 2 or more missed a day, and seeing a lot more longer, higher traffic connections. So Mysterium is, as with all these decentralized VPNs, they are based off reputation. So if your uptime's not there, you won't be prioritized on the network. So we can see here just that basic information, WireGuard. We've got what our services are running, our different sessions, and our node ID, US, so on and so forth. So, you know, a little disappointing, but again, I believe it's because we have too many nodes on our account that are offline, and I probably should just go through there and delete those. But it is what it is. Not a high earner, not a top priority. Basically runs in the background of a Raspberry Pi that also does Chia fork mining. So, you know, not a big deal. So the next thing we got is our Atmo tube, and it runs on the Algorand blockchain. So we see here we've got a balance of 601.9 planets. So planets are about 11 cents last time I checked. That's a little big. So 601.9 times 0.11. Yeah, $66.20. If we go to our last page here, you see our first submission was 42 days ago. Now, the first week or two was very disconcerting. So you can see here as we flip through 41 days, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, another 12, another 8 there. So probably maybe 30 responses through the day. We scroll back up here and we look at these days. We're seeing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 an hour. And that's what you want to see. You want to see that many. You're basically submitting all the shares possible. And in turn, you're rewarded 21.34 planets as the maximum every day. And that's sometime in the morning. For me, it's about 8:30, 9 in the morning. We can click through here and just look, and you can see that there's quite a few shares being submitted every day. Looks like this day here we missed a little bit. So our reward dropped. And it is based off of how many shares you do submit daily. So, lost power, had some power problems a few days back. And so that unfortunately was one of those days. And then we're right back to that 23, 24 planets a day. So I would say that, as far as if you just invest in the device itself and something to run it, if you have an old phone, wouldn't suggest it. Take a look at the last video for Raspberry Pi. But if you get a cheap Raspberry Pi with no screen for $30, no case, maybe under $200, you can have this. And at a $2.50 a day, you pay that off pretty quick. So good fun, a little side project. Basically just runs in the background. I got it power over Ethernet, just hanging under my desk. Very, very low wattage. I think, like I said, about 8 watts. And that's AtmoTube. I haven't had any trouble with it since I got it on the Raspberry Pi. Prior to that, lots of difficulty. So I wouldn't suggest using your phone if you're looking at this from a 100% uptime. And get yourself running it on Raspberry Pi. So we're talking about Chia. So I've been using HPool for quite some time now. And unfortunately here on the 11th, 12th, you can see this is where our power went out. And because I work, 10, 12-hour shifts, if something goes down, it's 12 hours or more before I get home to address it. So unfortunately, 2 days we missed out, but consistently we're getting about 0.40, 0.42, 0.41, 42, 40, 44, 42, 38. And go back here and we're looking at the same thing. It's pretty consistent at that 0.41 to 0.42. And if we take a look, I'll pull our calculator out here. Let's grab my phone. We'll check what the Chia price has been going all over the place here. There we go, coin market cap. We'll check it out. So it looks like today we're at 269. Say take your 269.041. $11 a day. Well, the same thing. My miner here runs 185 terabytes. And it runs on a HP NUC that doesn't have a lot of power use. I run everything on external hard drives, so they're not a lot of power use either. So we're looking less than probably about 50-60 cents a day. So $10.50 a day in Chia. Lots of FUD, lots of people complaining. Wah. I didn't get. I'm not a millionaire from mining Chia, but shouldn't expect to be long term. And then in this setup here, you're talking $11 a day over a year, $4,000 now. I'd say that that's not too bad. I wouldn't particularly suggest investing in anything because it's not financial advice. This is just what I've made and how I'm doing. So we'll pop on here to my Raspberry Pi and we'll check our Chia forks. All right, so we're going to use PuTTY to download or make a connection to our Raspberry Pi. And we'll get logged in here. So this is the Raspberry Pi. This runs on the Mysterium node. It runs 4 forks. We're only going to talk about Flax, Bear, and Chain. Seems again like Flax is going to be the most developed one. They're already trying to work on pools for Flax, which is good. The net space on that particular fork moved pretty quickly. Then we'll just get over into our Flax here. We're going to activate it, and we'll just run a farm summary real quick. Take a look at it. All right, so here we have farming. Total farmed 44. Total plot size 185. Estimated time 2 days, 17 hours, 2.3 exabytes on the network. So big network. I'm seeing probably about 2 every 2-3 days. It's pretty accurate there. So our next fork, chain green, not getting as much attention as Flax, but takes so little, and they use your plots that are existing, so it's not a big deal to run this in the background, especially if it's running on a Raspberry Pi. It's taking no power. So here we have farming, 25,000 farmed. Our same 185 terabytes. The network space here is a quarter of what it is for Flax. And the last one we're going to take a look at is Spare, another fork. Again, not as much development as Flax, but when it's running in the background, it only costs me a few cents a day to capitalize on it. Maybe one day it's an exchange and we can drop it for something. See, network space is similar size to chain. Farming got 160 rewards, and estimated time is under a day. So there you have it. It's a little update as well. We've got the threefold video. Got a lot of questions about profitability and so on. And can you run in a virtual machine? What's better hardware-wise? So threefold definitely gives preferential treatment to their hardware. Threefold miners, it's in the documentation that those will earn you more. They also cost you more. You spend $1,000, $1,500 on a device. If it makes you $1 or $2 more, well, 2 years later and you've got that recouped. Definitely want to be running it on your own dedicated hardware, or some cloud-based hardware. Simply, I would suggest a cloud instance of some sort because of the uptime requirements. So I talked about it a little bit in the video, but 7 hours a month is all you can be down. You're expected to have 99.99% uptime. I know most folks, if you're like me, I'm just a residential guy. I don't have a service level agreement with my ISP or anything. I do have a redundant power, and I do have redundant internet over LTE just to keep my stuff running. I don't often have trouble with my ISP. It's pretty solid, but nowhere near what threefold would require. It's a challenge to meet that expectation with anything. You have the device that just restarts for some reason. I mean, I'm not operating here with enterprise grade equipment. So if you want to see that working as a profitable endeavor, a likely cloud is going to be your only option. Sentinel network, again, same thing. Cloud is about your only option. Haven't seen any earnings from there. Gonna put a DigitalOcean instance up sometime this week, maybe next week. And I'm gonna drop a threefold and a Sentinel on it, let it run for a month, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what the earnings. Both of those are difficult to run from home. Sentinel for the particular reason that it doesn't deal with carrier grade NAT very well. And so for me, I don't have a public IP address. So if you have a static public IP address from your ISP, or even a dynamic public IP, if you just have a public and you can run a dynamic DNS, that would be easier for you. But in my case, Sentinel's is not an option to run from my farm or from my home lab. It has to be ran on the cloud because I don't have that public facing IP address. And Sentinel does not deal well. So I haven't seen any earnings from that. But, you could be very successful if you have, like I said, you have that public IP address. Well, there's no reason not to let it run. Again, it's not a power hungry, doesn't need a lot of processor, doesn't need a lot of memory. It can pretty much run on anything. So right now the big winner, Atmo2, just dropped a video on L3 Plus that's been doing real well for me. I haven't seen a decrease in dollar revenue with the Ethereum network burns. Definitely seen a decrease in ETH itself, but nice movements in the market have offset that from a dollars and cents perspective. So there you have it. I'll talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about HPool. Again, I know that you can now plot to your NFT and get in the pool. I'm in a few discords, and folks seem to say it's very similar. And without having any issues with HPool and comparable proceeds, I've got no interest in replotting 185 terabytes of Chia, as I imagine that most folks don't. That was not very engaging, and can be quite frustrating if you're losing plots you spend hours trying to create. And I guess that's about all we got. Just trying to pick up some, trying to find a 6600 XT. I've got a micro center that's about 4 or 5 hours away from me. Hopefully be able to grab one of those the week after next, and we'll make ourselves a little video and talk about it. All right, y'all, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe. I appreciate you watching.